Guys, there's been a murder. Hiya, it's Alex, and welcome to Year 3 of Silent Clan. Yes, you heard that beginning bit right, and I'll reveal more details as we go through the other cats in the clan. You might guess who it is before the big reveal at the end, or you probably will if I make the thumbnail what I think it's going to be. Also, thank you so much for 1,000 subscribers, and I know I sound like a broken record at this point, but it's just so crazy to me that so many people like my content and like what I put out into the world. Also, as a reminder, if you do like what you see, don't forget to like and subscribe. And if this is the first video of mine that you're watching, go back to years 1 and 2 to get some context first before watching this one. One final thing before we finally get into the cats, my art style does change quite a lot for most of the drawings in the video, and I think it's gonna stay that way for now. I'm still refining and improving my style, but I quite like the more graphic and confident line art style that I figured out. Okay, that was a lot of talking, so now without further ado, let's get into StarClan. And once again, we do have a StarClan cat this year, as Shy-Paw was the cat that was murdered. I decided to let him go to StarClan because he was a medicine cat apprentice, and he deserved it after that death, to be honest, which he encountered at 14 moons old. Shy-Paw grew into a fierce cat, and was initially apprenticed to Fuzzy Splash as a warrior. Warmtuft gave him the cardinal feathers you can see all over him, and he was especially close to her and his mentor. Towards the start of his apprenticeship, he was worried that he couldn't live up to his parents' expectations, as they were the leader and the deputy after all. Fuzzy Splash helped him through this and supported his incredibly difficult decision to switch to a medicine cat path. He did this after his father Silkraven got incredibly injured and he couldn't bear to see his family suffering with no medicine cats to help, so he was mentored by Patchlarch from StarClan. He proved himself to be a very good medicine cat, healing his father's injury and later Oakstar's yellow cough. Sadly, on the very last moon of this year, just before he was about to receive his full name, he was murdered in the medicine den by one of his clanmates, which absolutely destroyed his family. The first cat to die this year and be sent to the Dark Forest was Whisper, who passed away of heatstroke at 137 moons old. He kinda did nothing this year apart from turning his nose up at a gift of prey that Warmtuft gave him, and he died at the height of summer. Very, very sadly, the next cat to die was Warmtuft, who was hit by a monster at 104 moons old. She died instantly while out on patrol with Silkraven. At the beginning of the year, she was just as enamoured with Shy Kit as ever, though she did find herself having to keep the boisterous Kit on the right path. About 4 moons into the year, she was stolen by Two Legs while out on a patrol with Silkraven, but managed to escape and return to Silent Clan close to the end of the year. Coming back to her home made her overjoyed, and she went on a playful patrol to celebrate, but the next moon she was hit by a monster and died. And the final cat to die this year was Klondike, a loner who joined closer to the end of the year. He was abandoned at the edge of the Thunderpath by his Two Legs and found by Fuzzy Splash. He joined the clan with Green Cough and immediately died on the time skip after he was found, so there's nothing much to say about him, really apart from that his design is cool and I really like the way I drew him here. I think he looks really cute. Now into the living cats, starting with Oakstar, now 113 moons old, Silkraven, now 124 moons old, and their new 4 moon old kits, Snip Kit and Rainbow Kit. Oakstar spent most of the year growing close to his son Shy-Paw and a new joiner, Pine, who you'll meet later. When Silkraven dared him to go hunt out by the two-leg nests, he was taken away, but returned only a few sunrises later with a collar around his neck. He later welcomed Pine into the clan with open paws, and assisted in smoothing over a dispute that her and Siltfern were having. While out on patrol towards the end of the year, they found Snip Kit and Rainbow Kit in a beach hut, wrapped in a towel and abandoned. Of course, he couldn't just leave them there, so he brought them back to Silent Clan's camp, where he and Silkraven adopted them as their second litter. Just after his mate healed from the tail injury I mentioned, he fell ill with yellow cough. Sadly, Shy-Paw died before he could recover, and he went on to lose another life due to this, taking him down to 7 remaining lives. Silkraven's year was largely uneventful due to him receiving a tail wound from one of the dogs guarding a two-leg beach excavation site. This confined him to the medicine den for the majority of the year, as it also got infected. He made a full recovery towards the end of the year thanks to Shy-Paw's expert medical care, and his son's death absolutely broke his heart, as at the end of the year he is still grief-stricken. I'll quickly talk about Snipkit and Rainbow Kit as a pair, as they haven't done much this year. Snipkit is a short-haired black ghost tabby and white Tom with brass yellow eyes, who is sweet and interested in the dark forest like his father Oakstar. He seems to be living up to the trait he was given, as he is generally very friendly and welcoming. His sister Rainbow Kit is a long-haired, red-ticked tabby she-cat with blue-yellow heterochromia, though you can't really tell from this image, her hair is covering one of her eyes. She's an attention seeker and a lover of stories, and is definitely the more outgoing and troublesome of the two. So, remember last year when I said I hope Fuzzy Splash has a better year this time? I really should stop saying that, guys, because I think I jinxed her. Now 111 moons old, Fuzzy Splash's years started off well when she was given Shypaw to train as an apprentice. Over the short time she was his mentor, they bonded really well, and Shypaw opened up to her regularly about his struggles. She pushed away her lingering grief for Elmchur by helping Shypaw grow into a good warrior, and was incredibly supportive of his decision to switch to being a medicine cat. She later found and invited Klondike into the clan, and was sad when he died only days later. But it all really came crashing down towards the end of the year. You see, her, Siltfern, Warmtuft and Pine were all a group of friends. Then Warmtuft died, which left them all devastated. And not long after, her former apprentice was murdered, which, as you can imagine, drove her even deeper into her grief. But something else happened to one of the two cats remaining in their friend group, which almost felt like the icing on the awful cake that was Fuzzy Splash's year. All in all, this poor bean did nothing wrong, and she doesn't deserve what the universe is putting her through right now. Next we have a new arrival, the 71-moon-old Bellybolt, a short-haired white and blue ticked tabby she-cat with wiry fur and spring green eyes. She's lonesome, incredibly clever, and a learner of lore. And I was curious about her name, and for all the people who also didn't know, Bellybolt is the goofiest looking Pokemon. I will put a picture up on screen. It is so silly and funny, and I just love that some humans apparently decided to name their cat after one of those. I absolutely love that for her. She hasn't really done anything since joining, apart from wanting to be included in the little she-cat friend group that I mentioned earlier when I was talking about Warmtuft. Pine is yet another new joiner. She's a 49-moon-old, long-haired, black marbled tabby she-cat with a short tail and dull olive eyes. She's also cold, very clever, and a great teacher. And guys, she is Silent Spot's biological mum. Remember him who died last year? She came to find the clan at the start of Greenleaf, as she regretted giving her son up to the clan and not being in his life. She didn't mention where his biological father went, though in-game he is still listed as a loner, so they were probably never formally mates in the first place. Oakstar had to give her the incredibly difficult news that her son was dead, and she took that quite badly. After that, she doted over Shykit and actually grew quite close to him, which made it all the more heartbreaking for her when he died. She was accepted into what I am dubbing Fuzzy Splash's clique, but that now consists of just her and Fuzzy Splash, because... Some of the more observant viewers among you may notice that one cat is missing from the lineup. And that's because she was exiled. Congratulations if you figured it out, Siltfern was indeed Shypaw's killer. She's now 128 moons old and prowls the land beyond the clan's borders. The animosity that she had held for Shykit since his birth only grew over the course of the year, especially when he became a medicine cat apprentice. Now, it wasn't just because he reminded her of Elmchur in every way. She thought he wasn't treating the chronic pain she experienced from her weak leg properly. She thought he was only treating his family thoroughly, which of course wasn't true. It's just they didn't have enough herbs to treat her leg properly. Eventually, Shypaw began returning the full-blown hate that was now directed at him, and on the last moon of the year, Siltfern snapped. Fuzzy Splash was the cat that found her in the medicine den, standing over Shypaw's broken body, covered in blood. Her best friend and her former apprentice. That's the final reason for Fuzz's emotional turmoil this year, by the way. Of course, Oakstar exiled her immediately and she left the camp. Oh, that was a lot of drama. That's the end of the video. Thanks for sticking around to this point. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss Year 4. I haven't played it yet, but I feel like based on this year, it's going to be amazing. Bye guys!